And we're live another Friday night pints. Been talking about Declan Rice. What is the hold-up? What is the hold-up? Are Arsenal playing games? Are they purposely dragging out this deal to either, try and sort out their financial situation or to teach West Ham a lesson, as a lot of the Arsenal fans seem to think? What is going on with this? We're talking about that, talking a bit about the transfer window. Moyes comments saying we can't plan until Rice is gone. And all other signings and all sorts of other stuff going on. But it's just me and you, Ryan, tonight, mate.
Yeah, the dream team, mate. The tag team that everyone wants. Yeah, it's just me and you tonight, mate. Graham's gone. I don't know where Graham is. Scott's pulled out last minute, and Nicky might join us, but he's out. So if he makes it back in time, you might see an appearance from Nicky later on.
Yeah, that's the fear. We'll see. It's touch and go if we'll see him. But we're going to be rolling on. We're going to be, powering through and talking about all of these bloody topics. I mean, look, we're tired of talking about Rice, but what is going on? Like, it was announced that we'd agreed. Oh, bloody hell. Speak of the devil.
No.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. He's in the background. I mean, should I add him, or is he waiting?
Is that
Welcome,
him?
devil. The devil has arrived.
That lasted a whole 30 seconds after I said you might come on tonight because you're out. You must have just rolled through the door and just pulled up, rolled through the door and flicked the on button.
It's taken me 5 minutes. I've got
the dream team has become the nightmare team now. So we're about to get straight into it, Nick. Just talking about the Rice. Like I said, 2 weeks ago, the deal was done. Like, as we'd heard, fee had been agreed, and it's just still not been announced. We're still waiting for the papers, apparently. Some sources are saying it's all done and they're doing their announcement video. Some are saying we ain't got the papers. What the bloody hell's going on?
It's odd. I've got to say, it's odd. I've heard a couple of rumblings, but through the whole thing, like, as I say, I'm not in the know. I don't know any more than anybody else. But I do hear a few things, but you take them with a pinch of salt, because for the whole deal, even the people that do know what's going on have been pretty much kept in the dark about what's going on. They all think it's going to be done at this time. It's meant to be done and dusted 2 weeks ago. Then it was all meant to be done last week. Then it's dragged on to this week. And I'm hearing a couple of rumblings, just very, very slight rumblings, that Arsenal haven't got the money to pay us up front, which is, I think who knows? Who knows what the situation is? It might just be they're, delaying for, certain reasons. It might be that they're waiting for someone else to go out because, Granit Xhaka's just gone out. I heard rumblings that they're trying to get rid of Partey. Maybe they're trying to get rid of him before they sign it all off. But it's a very, very strange situation. I don't recall anybody else sort of getting a bid accepted and medicals getting done and videos getting filmed and then the paperwork not coming through. It's just odd, isn't it? It's just strange.
I can't recall anything like it.
Yeah, it hasn't helped with obviously Rice being away, but I mean the first payment's 33.3 million. So I can't see that Arsenal haven't got that sort of money. It's a big transfer. It's a big deal. It's obviously going to take its time, but it's not helping us because if we're going by what some people are reporting, most of our money is through this Declan Rice deal. So West Ham should have just been strong and said to Arsenal, look, you've got until this deadline. If the paperwork ain't in, then we pull out the deal and then let someone like Man City come in or another team come in, because I'm sure there's other teams out there that would snap up the chance to take Declan Rice. So Arsenal are just flexing their Super League muscles at the moment and trying to make us wait. And but I just think I personally think it's a done deal. I think it'll be announced over the weekend. I'm not buying all this goodbye video business. I'm not interested in it one bit. I don't get the point of doing that. You just leave the football club. I think doing a goodbye video is sort of rubbing it in a bit. What's he going to do? He's going to sit there and say he loves the fans, he loves the club. I've loved me. Yeah, but you're leaving. So I'm not worried about all that goodbye video. Just as I said last week, once Declan Rice is gone, unless he pulls on an England shirt, I couldn't care less what he does for Arsenal.
Yeah, that's you know what, I got so much shit for saying that last week on Twitter when there were suggestions about West Ham doing we've got to spend time to do this fancy video for him, and I that was my thoughts exactly. But this idea that, like I said, a lot of Arsenal fans seem to think that they're teaching West Ham a lesson for how we conducted business with them, and now they're purposely scuppering our window by having us hold on. And I don't know if that's true, but like
if there's any truth in that, Dan, I would pull the deal. Do you know what I would do? I would pull the deal and go back to Man City and just say, "Do you want him for 85? We'll take it." Do you know what I mean? Like, why get held up by a club? If that's the case, if they're being like, I've seen it. People saying we're punishing you because you wanted a bidding war and you entice people. So what are we supposed to do? Just let them bid and that's it. We're entitled to try and get as much money as we can. Like, and if they're being funny about like making us wait, and the problem is with it is that, like, obviously if I was the West Ham owner and they kept on promising me paperwork and it's not coming through, and they're delaying it purposely, I would be petty and I'll just fucking pull the deal. But the truth of the matter is, right, and this is just me putting my I wouldn't say negative hat, but my realistic hat on, is that this suits Sullivan, because the least time he has that money in his hands, the more excuse, if we haven't spent it all or we haven't got what we need by the end of the window, he can turn around and went, well, we was trying, but that Declan Rice money didn't come in. I'm a bit confused as to why that is the only money we spent. The only reason I can think is that the FFP, I know we're on the FFP watch list, and we spent a lot of money last year. So
we must have some to spend though without any sales. Like, even if it's 30 mil or so, say we didn't sell anyone, with the TV money and all that, we must have some money to spend. We can't just have the Rice money. Surely it's not that and nothing. Like, say Barnes or James Ward-Prowse or something, you could buy one of those without having to sell Rice. Like, surely we didn't, because if we had to sell Rice, imagine that, no clubs met our evaluation and thought we'll just wait till he's for free and didn't want to sign him, and we had Rice. So what, we couldn't add to the squad then?
Well, yeah, I think there will be some sort of money in there, but if you want to get in like the big signings, I think we have to get this Rice deal done as soon as possible. And I honestly think it's done. He's obviously agreed terms. He's already done his medical. He's filmed his hello video, his goodbye video, his fucking Christmas video, his Christmas #1, whatever he's filmed all that. So yeah, once we get him out the door, hopefully we'll see a bit of movement in the transfer market. I know that West Ham are obviously going back in for Alvarez at Ajax, which is someone that I know Nicky spoke about last week. Yeah. Seems like he'll be a decent player. But once we get him out the door, we can start getting in a few of these players. And we just move on. We move on from Declan Rice and we rebuild and go again for next season.
Well, let's should we get some comments in on this, and then we can move on to the future of West Ham and what's next. But some interesting comments. This one made me laugh. Dino here. Goodbye videos like your missus telling you she loves you while handing you over divorce papers. Yeah,
I'm not sure. I love Declan. Declan's been probably my favourite player over probably the last 20 years. And I really like him, but I'm not sure how I'm going to take this goodbye video, to be honest with you. It's not something I want to see. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather him just go and, leave us with a memory, like, because when you get, and we probably will, when you get this goodbye video, there's going to be people pulling it apart, pulling it to pieces. Like, oh, how can you say this when you've done this? And how can you do that when you've said this? And you know what I mean? Like, he got asked in the airport today about what's going on with the Arsenal deal. And he turned around and went, well, I don't know what's going on. He obviously does know what's going on. And I know that you're sort of limited to what you can say and all that. But then I see people sort of screaming and shouting at him because he said a couple of weeks ago when the geezer asked him, "Who do you want to go to?" and he's saying, "I only want to play for West Ham." Like he can't do right for doing wrong. You know, there's nothing he can do. You know what I mean? And then there's people saying that they spoke to his family back in March, and you know, they made it quite clear that it was Arsenal he's always wanted. I don't really get it. I don't really get, you know, where this has all come from. But
I think that's bollocks because look, we weren't here in Arsenal last year. We was not here in Arsenal. There were other clubs.
That's not last year. That's earlier this year, isn't it? So
no, but he's always wanted. If he's always wanted Arsenal, you know, in Zagreb, Nick, we was not hearing nothing about Arsenal, and all of a sudden he always wanted them. There was other teams we took. There was mentioned. Arsenal was not one of them. So either they're bullshitting now, or whoever said they said that is bullshitting. And this is the thing: is so much. It's just been awful. It's been a really horrible just dealing in it. It's just.
To be honest with you, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit. He's not going to be playing for West Ham next year, one way or the other. So whether he goes to Arsenal, I do not give a fuck where he goes. I don't care where he's playing. And you know, and I said this the other week, and people misconstrued it. But at the end of the day, when he signs for another Premier League club, whether it be Manchester City, Arsenal, he's competing by default for the same trophies that we're competing for. So I hope he wins nothing because I hope we win everything. Is that realistic? Of course it's not. But you know what I mean? Like, how can I turn around and go, I hope he wins the league? Because that means we won't win the league. And every year,
no, even if we were in the Championship, I wouldn't be hoping he won the fucking league. I wouldn't want him to because he's playing for Arsenal.
This is what I said exactly the same last week, mate. Even like I said that there's West Ham fans on Twitter that I think that if we played Arsenal in the final game of the season, for them to win the league and for us to go down, they'd win Arsenal to win the league just for Rice to see him lift the Premier League trophy. I don't care what Declan Rice does now. As I said, unless he plays for England, I'll always support him playing for England. Of course I will. But I'll never forget what Declan Rice done for the football club. Of course I won't. He was part of that team that lifted that trophy 5 weeks ago. So it'll always be in our history. But look, instead of doing goodbye videos, just go. Just get out of the football club and go and, you know, go and play for Arsenal or wherever you're going to end up, you know. And people keep saying, "Oh, you're being salty." I'm not being salty. I'm just being realistic. You know what I mean? Football players come and go. You know, I've seen players that I've loved leave the football club, but you just get on with it. How much did we all love Payet? And he left. As I said, Dan, I said you weren't on last week, but I said that if Jared Bowen handed in a transfer request tomorrow, I'd be more upset than Declan Rice leaving the football club because I've been expecting Declan Rice to leave the football club.
Yeah,
I'm not expecting Jared Bowen to leave the football club. So that's why, and I just want to get on with it now, and I want to build a team that can take us, you know, hopefully push us up that Premier League table next season and have another good run in Europe. You know, we can just forget about Declan Rice. You know, we'll always remember him, but he's not part of us no more.
Well, yeah, bang on.
I would go this far. I would go this far, yeah. But you know, just to show that we're serious. Like, if we're serious about it, if there is no paperwork over this weekend, I would be telling Rice, get on the first plane to Australia because you're still with us. You know, we can't.
I wouldn't. I'll tell him to get on the first plane to Saudi Arabia, mate. We can get more money.
yeah. Ship him off to the Saudis.
No, but that's what
we're paying his wages, aren't we? We still paying his wages?
Just to show we're serious. I'd be saying we're over here. You're contracted to us. We're paying your wages. Get over here. That's what I would be saying, just to sort of prompt them on a little bit. But you know, there is other factors. You know, who's paying his wages at the moment? You know, there's a lot of people rumored that they're trying to save a couple of weeks on wages because he's on 70k a week and, you know, 250k a week at Arsenal. I don't know.
I want to pay, over 500,000 saved already in this past 2 weeks. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. They are shit houses, Arsenal. You know, they sacked Gunnosaurus. They put all their bloody staff on furlough. This would not surprise me one bit. So, yeah, I think that you're on to say. So you started this, Nick. We can't afford it. It's laughing face. I think he's trying to say, like,
well, pay it then.
Yeah, fucking pay it.
Pay it and get the registration done. Why haven't they paid it?
West Ham should turn around and say that if you don't put the first amount in over the weekend, then we want it all up front or no deal.
Yeah.
We want the 100 million up front or no deal.
Yes,
You
you
watch
got to
them.
show these clubs.
You watch them scrape a bit of money together then and send it over
You've
by
got
PayPal.
Yeah, you've got to show these clubs they can't take the piss. Like they think they can bully you. They think they can piss you about. You got to show them you're stern.
Oh, Arteta will be on the phone to Guardiola going, "Hey, lend us 10 million. I'll give it back to you next week."
Yeah, we'll pay it back. We'll pay you back in installments.
Clown the referee, they are.
This one, I think you start. Arsenal was skint. They got to sell over 11 players who were on loan. Mickey Mouse Club Arsenal says how. Arsenal signed a £30 million player from Ajax today. Oh, that was that Timber deal.
£30 million player is a lot different to an £100 million player.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's our first instalment. They might give us him.
yeah, exactly. Oh, here's Timber. Paul Houston says Arsenal got those other deals done. We shouldn't have to wait. So Rice should have trained with us until deal defo done. Get Kretinsky, put his hand in his pocket. Fourth richest owners in the Prem. Hammers. I think one of the thing is with him not training is obviously you don't want him getting injured during training and then it scuppering things. You know what I mean? Because then. Yeah, that can put a spanner in the works for both.
Well, he's away training. Looks like he's on some Adidas camp, doesn't he? Because he's with all the other players.
I think he went.
No, he's gone somewhere. I don't know where he is. He might be in Portugal.
He was in Portugal, yeah, but he's come back now. He's back.
He's away again, isn't he? Because he's with Bruno Fernandes and all.
No, he's back. He's back from there. He was in Portugal. He come back. He flew back today because there was pictures of him at the airport.
But yeah, but I agree. Put our hands in the pockets. We need to find because you see, like Newcastle have announced their new sponsor, right? Which is this Saudi company that was just made up that is essentially owned by their owners, and they've announced that as their shirt sponsor. So, and it was approved by the Prem. So why can't we do these sort of sponsorships? Get Kretinsky Telecom or something. I don't know. And
Kretinsky Airways.
Yeah, it's something like that. You know what I mean? Don Robbie said it's happening over the weekend.
Don Robbie said it was happening last week. To my face.
Yeah, Don Robbie said they got bigger fish to fry about 2 months ago. Now they can't even afford rice, let alone fish.
Yeah, I love Don Robbie, but John says, I would be nervous about the other 66.6 million being paid up. Well, here's the thing. Then, if they don't pay that up, they are fucked. They're in breach of contract then.
You watch, give it a couple of years, Dan. You'll see Arsenal on Channel 5 on Can't Pay, we'll take it away. And they'll be taking Declan Rice away in a white van and bringing him back to us.
Imagine that, them two fucking bailiffs they get on there with the jackets coming in and going in and pricing everything up in the Arsenal.
What would you do?
Yeah, we would.
What would you do? Because there's like these court cases going for years, man. Like fucking God rest his soul. There's still massive court cases going on about who's got to pay the money for fucking Emiliano Sala.
Oh yeah.
Like Cardiff or fucking Nantes or wherever the fuck he come from. Like they're still fighting over it now. Like Cardiff won't pay them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, fucking hell.
Weird one. Yeah, that's thing that goes on for ages. We don't want, but you got to sue them. Like you can't just fucking not pay.
Well, they wouldn't be able to do it because they'd get a transfer ban, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would.
Yeah,
maybe that's why
you'd think so. You'd think so, but fucking don't count your chickens, mate. When it comes to them sort of clubs, ridiculous.
Carl says they're lining up and making sure their other targets are signed and sealed before they give us the ticket to scupper their other targets. I mean, there's only so long they can do that for. Rice money equals shopping at Waitrose. No rice money equals Tesco. As long as it's Tesco finest and not Tesco value.
Dario's sort of in here. He's trying to give it a big one, but
one of these Arsenal twats. Yeah, They have some decent fans, but then there's twats like Dario out there. That's just
Who's Dario?
Dario G.
Darius's brother from X Factor. I don't know.
He's just a geezer in the comments, mate. He's just
Yeah.
Oh right, I thought.
trying to poke fun, trying to have a bit of banter, but he's going down like a toothache.
Yeah, not very original.
I like Dario.
Nevadius says we have the money, but our FFP is terrible, so we need to sell first in order to buy. But is it that bad that we can't sign anyone? Like that's what I question. Is it that bad? Like we in like Everton shoes. Smeagol says Sullivan is asset stripping, which is an accusation that's been put against him for years now. Nevadius says, "Yep, go on."
I will.
You said that one.
I'll be honest. There is parts of me that think he is, but I don't think the geezer that wants to buy the club is going to let him asset strip while he's sitting on the board. You know what I mean? No.
Yeah, that's a good point. Nevadius also says Freddie Potts signed a new deal. I don't give a fuck about Dex. Yeah, good.
That's good for the football club. That 3-year deal. So they obviously see something in him. And what I've seen of him, I said this a little while ago. He reminds me of Declan Rice. So we might be losing Declan Rice, but we might find someone who in a couple of years could be just as good as him. Because we, if you remember when Declan first came into the first team for West Ham, he wasn't brilliant, was he? He just got into the first team and he just worked hard. So if Potts can do that, then you never know. We might have another £100 million superstar on our hands ready to sell in 3 years' time for the top.
Might be losing Rice, but we might have a new Rice pot.
Yeah, pots and pans. That's what we need. Pots and pans in the
pots and pissing. Yeah, no, I think he looked good. No, he has. Every time we've seen him play, he's looked very promising. So yeah,
I like it. I went to the friendly the other day, the Boreham Wood friendly, and he looks good. Even Downs look good, but I know it's very limited opposition.
So much.
But yeah, he did look good. I like him. I was sitting a couple of seats away from his dad. Funny enough.
Yeah, no, absolute quality. Elbow says, at the end of the day, Rice is a Chelsea lad, so West Ham and Arsenal are just work. He'll end up at Chelsea still. I mean,
he will end up at Chelsea.
They had him. They had him.
Yeah, he's been there.
Yeah. I don't know if he's still, because he grew up a Chelsea fan, so I don't know if he still has that love or fandom for the club. But I thought he did his meet. No one knows David, really. That's the thing. It's all guesswork. Everyone's reporting shit. No one has a clue what the fuck.
The thing is, it's more than likely that he's already done it. It's more than likely that he's been there and done it all. You know what I mean? Like expecting it to be done. Just because they've done it, it doesn't mean that it's done. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? Like they prep these things.
Dan Juma done all of his media and everything for Everton, and then when it's time for Spurs, he done it all. He took the pictures with the kit, everything, and he fucked off to Spurs.
I remember years ago when Willian had his medical at Tottenham and then signed for Chelsea.
Yeah. They went off the medical report they had for Tottenham.
Arsenal owners have thrown 250 million at each team he owns. I think it's all about Kroenke's teams. Well, they've thrown more than 250 mil at Arsenal. I tell you that much, like recently. So let's see. So Jordan, I can't remember this. When we star things that's so far back, that's bollocks. They've been around for years.
I think that's the sponsor you was talking about.
Oh, yeah, he's Geordie, isn't he? That's not what I read, mate. You got to show me, tweet me the proof. I want to see all the accounts. Rob Hobbs says Freddie Potts the next Rice for me, so fuck Rice now.
And this is the thing, like you're going to get a lot of West Ham fans sort of turning against Declan Rice, and it's not even Declan Rice's fault, really, in a sense, because it's Arsenal that are dragging this out, and the longer it goes on, the more people are going to sort of turn against Declan Rice, which we didn't want, but it's part and parcel of football, isn't it? You're leaving a football club, so you're going to get a little bit of hate. As I said, I won't clap Declan Rice. I won't boo Declan Rice when he comes back. I want to beat Declan Rice. I want to beat Arsenal. So that's how football is.
100%. Although if he does celebrate it against us, I'll beat the shit out of him. Rice era is over. Good lad. Good luck to him. Now it's time for us all to move on and concentrate on preseason and getting some new talent in squad. I agree, but it's like we can't move on until it's bloody done. Do you know what I mean?
Let me just say this. I love this saying. All fur coat, no knickers. Fuck knows where that's ever come from. But I love it when people say that.
That's a really old saying. That.
Yeah.
So, Crossed Hammers says, if you leave, you're fair game, which is adding on to what you were saying, right? I think that's a good point. Nick?
Let me just respond to this one quickly, because if you're a patron, you would have heard on the Amaret App podcast about I've had a couple of hospital appointments lately. Nothing to worry about. But I was just saying, like, there was a bit of a scare. Make sure you get yourself checked. Make sure you don't fuck about with that sort of thing. And this guy, Drano Hammers, has said he's going to get himself checked and got an appointment. So well done, mate. That's always good. Ryan's been telling me for ages. I've been putting it off. And finally I've done it. So yeah, I can put that to bed at the moment.
For fuck hospitals, I've had enough of hospitals this week. I've done my shoulder in on Monday. It's all swollen. I've tore all the ligaments in my shoulder. Like basically the main ligament that holds your shoulder together is just ripped. So it's all bruised. I'm like, fuck's sake.
Don't hold a plate in that hand, because you're more likely.
I'm not playing football again. I get injured more playing football now than I did when we played when we was younger.
Yeah, that's the sign, mate. That's the sign of getting older, as they say,
No, but you know what? It was me. It was my own fault. It was me fucking about. So it was my own fault. So I'm not going to do it anymore. It's diving around like an idiot.
Stay on your feet. But I mean, looking forward then, I mean, off the back of this Rice thing, Moyes came out, he was interviewed, he was obviously asked about this in a press conference. Basically said he don't know what the hell's going on with Rice. The media know more than him, but sort of said, like, because it's dragging out so long, we can't plan what we're doing with our transfers until this Rice deal is finished, which was alarming to a lot of people, because we're like, when he used that word, we can't plan, it's like, wait a minute, we haven't planned for life without Rice.
I think he's been taken out of context there.
I just quickly, I just love all the comments. Just love all the comments saying about Ryan too much wanking. Mate, I'm right-handed. I'm right-handed, so I'm fucking. If I need to, I'm game. I'm not left-handed.
Yeah, but sometimes you sit on your left hand and it feels like a stranger.
No, I don't do that. I don't do that. That's one of the reasons why I got married. If I can't be bothered.
I think he's been taken out of context a little bit. I think I'm not taken out of context. He obviously said what he said, but I think you can take it as a couple of ways. He's saying we ain't planned, but what you would say
says until it's done, we can't plan anything.
Well, no, but how can we? Because we don't know he's gone. And he don't know he's gone. So what?
Yeah, but it
probably changes your targets. If we've got Declan Rice still at the football club come August, then we don't need a defensive midfielder for the season.
Yeah, but we don't sit there and look at and take it as well. He's still at the club, so let's not go and plan for what midfielders will get if we sell him. Like, you've got to plan for different possibilities, right? So here's the plan if Rice goes and we get this money. Here's the targets, here's the players, and here's the plan if Rice doesn't go and we still got him. So you have those plans drawn. You don't just sit on your hands and go, well, we'll see what happens, and then we'll draw up a plan. That's just ridiculous. I mean, I'm hoping that he's either just sort of, playing a bit of games in the media, or he was a little bit flippant with his wording and used the wrong words. And that's what I hope, because if we are waiting to see what happens and then we go, right, okay, so we got 105 million, right, who should we get? That's a disaster. But a lot of fans
I don't give him much credit, but I can't see that being true. Can you?
Well, yeah, I mean, like one of the transfer. I mean, when we was on here last week, Nick, the news broke that Newcastle were apparently have agreed a deal to sign Harvey Barnes, and everyone was in the comments doing their nuts saying, "Why aren't we signing? Why aren't we signing him?" But he hasn't signed for Newcastle yet. Just because they've had a bid accepted, it doesn't matter. That is a player that we are looking at, Harvey Barnes. So I'm hoping that I agree with Dan. We should have a plan in place for both scenarios, but we've got a plan without Declan Rice. We know he's going to go. So I'm hoping that if it's all done over the weekend, on Monday we start seeing a bit more transfer activity and we start bringing in a few players.
Yeah, it does seem, because we haven't doesn't seem to have really put any bids in, so it does seem we are waiting for this to be actually done and us get the money in before we put the bid in. You know what I mean? Like, it's like if you've got a bit of money in your pocket, but you're waiting to get the big money in before you spend it, just in case anything goes wrong. And
It's mad how Aris turned on social media, and it's sort of what I expected. I mean, you wouldn't think 5 weeks ago we was all happy about winning that trophy in Prague. I see the other day that Fabrizio Romano, whatever his name is, he released a story about Scamacca, but he worded it completely different, and everyone was turning against Scamacca. But he just picked bits out of that interview, and like most journalists do. And look, he's usually decent, that bloke, but I felt a bit sorry for Scamacca because straight away people on all these forums and all that are all get Scamacca out of the football club if he doesn't want to be here. He didn't say that. Read the whole story.
Yeah,
it was a very clever interview from him, but unfortunately,
he wanted the engagement and people jumping on it and going, "Oh, you've seen Scamacca and the quote tweet." That's what he wanted, because you know what you're doing. You're basically, that tweet was designed to look like Scamacca wants to leave. He left the part where he said, "I'm a West Ham player. I'm happy here." Didn't put that part out. Goes, full article to follow. And so all of these little minions are going, "Well, he said the full article was coming up."
I never get that tweet. I never get that tweet. Like, why put that out? Obviously, I know why you put it out. I'm not fucking stupid. We're sort of part of the same world, so I know how people's minds work. But like, if you've got the quotes from the tweet, you've got the full article.
Yeah.
And if you ain't got the full article, then you're talking out of context.
But I see a lot of people on Twitter like quote tweeting it, saying get him out of the club, get him out of the football club, and they've not even read the full article. No. I'm like, it's mad how the world works now. This is what's
dangerous, though, is someone like Fabrizio, who's built up a sort of a level of credibility. When he tweets, like, people listen and take it as God. So he's tweeting this, people like, it's got a bit of weight to it.
Yeah.
So people are just going to take that and go, well, like Fabrizio Romano wouldn't lead that. That's obviously the important. That's the crux of what he said.
I think he's
letting himself down massively.
There's some problems with that sort of influence that you've got with like Fabrizio Romano. Like I've seen people, and I mean content creators, I won't fucking mention who they are, that will schedule their videos as soon as he makes confirmation that they're done. And when you've got that much influence, and he has got a lot of pull, Fabrizio Romano has got a lot of pull in the football world. It's very tempting to lead people that he can. I mean, I'm assuming he's Italian, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
he might have an agenda. He wants Scamacca. He likes Scamacca, and he wants him to go back to Italy. So, he's got that sort of pull to sort of create a stir, create an happiness, create a sort of a mini, what's the word, hurricane.
In that, he's lost a lot of credibility. And do you know what the funny thing is? I tweeted about
it, right? But there's a lot of people
jumped on it. Brighton fans were saying he'd done the same thing with Caicedo literally days ago, right?
Yeah, and what's happened to Caicedo? Caicedo is starting to throw his toys out the pram.
Yeah, but what they're saying is, but what he's done is the same thing. He's cherry picked the most damaging quotes and taken them out of context and tweeted them about Caicedo, and he's upset a load of the Brighton fans who knew what they're doing. So he's lost credibility with the Brighton fans. Now he's done the same with West Ham, lost credibility with the West Ham fans, and that if he goes down that path, he's changing the trajectory of what his career was, and he's going more like the Sun. That's where he's going. He's turning into the sun, so he's on a slippery slope there. Pretty old Keith with a £5 super chat. Keith said, "No, thank you very much, Keith. Very interesting little suggestion here. I want Rice gone and Kerr to step into his position. He's good with the ball going forward and not a bad defender, so should be good at breaking play up." That's a really interesting shout. To be honest, I know what you guys think, but I wouldn't mind seeing that, especially maybe in a cup game. What do you reckon, guys?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the potential to play in that position. I was impressed with him towards the end of the season. Start of the season, he was a bit shaky, but I thought he was an important player, especially in that final run-in towards the end of the season, and I was really impressed with him. So you never know. Look, Declan Rice started off as a centre-back that got converted into a midfielder, so it can be done. You look at what Trent's doing at Liverpool, you know, and he's been playing there for England as well. So these players
there's been a few of them starting converting, like fullbacks converting to midfielders and doing very well. We famously done it a couple of years back when Zabaleta was way past his best. We stuck him in midfield for a couple of games. Remember that? But you know, there's famously. But what I would say is that Kehrer has got all the attributes. He's got all the attributes to do that sort of thing. He really has. And I don't think that's a bad shout at all. No, look, I'm not saying let's go into the season with Souček and Kehrer as our centre midfielders. That would be fucking madness if you ain't, you ain't fucking got a thingy. But it's definitely an experiment that I would not be against if he played him there in cup games or, you know, like against the lower league opposition or whatever, just to see how he got on. To see how he fit in there.
You can try it during pre-season. We've got some tough games in pre-season. You know, obviously got Tottenham in Australia, and then we play. Is it Leverkusen and Rennes as well? So they're two decent run out. Someone's just said it there about John Stones for City. You know, last season. He was another one that converted. So yeah, it can happen.
I really like that shout. I really like that, and like you said, pre-season. Sort of just ease him into it. Some lower cup games, see how it goes. And like I said, I think he's mobile. He's good on the ball. Yeah, I love that shout. Edward Turner with a $10 super chat. Thank you very much, Edward. Hope your Friday night's going well, mate. First Friday night pint I've watched since the final. Nicky Rice, so happy I was able to meet you and say hi in Prague. I was the American that stopped by to say hello. Thanks for taking the time to chat to me.
Do you know what? I spoke to a couple of Americans out there, but yeah, I think I know you. It's the one near the when Nicky was sitting on the statue, wasn't it? And we had all the drinks.
But don't thank us for taking our time. Thank you for coming over. Thank you for taking your time to make your way over to us. Don't thank us for our time.
Yeah.
It's
always nice to meet people. It's always nice when we get to bump into people,
especially when you're in that sort of place in that situation as well. When you're gearing up for a cup final in Europe, so yeah, it's always memories for life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. A lot of people in the chat are liking that Kerr shout, to be honest. So listen,
shout, it's a good shout.
Yeah, really good comment, Keith. Nice shout. But yeah, so look. I think we're all in agreement that there must be some plan, right?
Didn't we do that with Reece Oxford as well?
Yeah, he played
midfielder, didn't he?
He did. That's where he played against Arsenal, wasn't it? When he pocketed Ozil, he played in midfield, but he was a centre back.
Well, the most expensive British player in history, if it gets the fucking Sunderland deal, started off as a fucking centre back. So,
yep. Exactly. So yeah, I hopefully Moyes has thought about that one, and we get to see that give that a try. And I agree. Kerr actually was a shout for me for captain if he would be a player that could play, most games. If he played most games, I would think he'd be a really good shout for captain. I think it's been announced that Creswell's club captain, but again, he probably won't be playing every game. But yeah, so. Obviously, we've just got to sit back and see what these plans are that we're hearing about. We got plans, or we ain't got plans yet. I think there are some plans. We just don't know what they are yet. But, until this bloody Rice deal's done, we ain't going to make any moves. So,
Just quickly before you go on to another West Ham topic, I don't know if did any of you get a chance to watch that Dele Alli interview yesterday?
I watched like the first 20 minutes. I haven't finished it.
I watched it yesterday. It's mad how you can change your opinion on someone. You know, it's the world we live in. We judge someone by what we see, and when I actually felt really sorry for him, and you can tell he was hurting, and you know, a lot of people were saying, "Oh yeah, but he's laughing during the interview," but he explained in the beginning, and I'm the same. When you're in a nervous situation, you laugh, and I've done that before, and yeah, it was sad
You could tell from how he was laughing. Before he even said it, I knew that's what kind of laugh it was. It
must be such a weight off of his shoulder that he's been able to come out and, you know, say all that and get out of his chest. And I hope that he can, because there's no denying, we all know he's a talent. You know, we remembered him in the World Cup in 2018. He was one of the best players in the tournament. You know, and if he can get back to anywhere near that, you know, I think he'd be well received in the world of football. And whoever decides to take him on, whether Everton stick with him or wherever he moves on, I wish him all the best for his career, and I hope he can get back to doing what he loves. Because it was really sad to watch it.
I did watch it. And again, you know, he's one of them people that he was, you know, especially when he was, let's be honest, he was fucking good when he was young. You know, and he's playing for, you know, a rival. It's one of them things where he was the person you love to hate. You know, every Tottenham fan loved him and every other fan hated him because he was a little bastard. But it is crazy how, you know, your perceptions and all that. And we do forget sometimes that these people are human beings and they've been through things.
He did admit in it that he hasn't helped himself, like with his partying, his drinking, and it's a bit like Jack Grealish at the moment. You know, he's Jack Grealish has come out and said, "Look, I love to play football, but I love to drink." So as long as he keeps that as a balanced life, you know, then that's fair play to him.
Once it don't affect what you do on the pitch, you know.
The videos I've seen the last few days is he's been working his arse off training before he joins up with City. But you don't want him to go the Gaza route.
It's difficult. And this is what Gascoigne suffered with. When you've got things that have happened in your past, you struggle with demons. And then you can be on top of the world 1 minute, and then, you know, you get a bit carried away having a good time. You know, people try and forget them bad times by overcompensating on the good times. And you can be on top of the world, and then all of a sudden, you know, the rug can be slipped from underneath your feet. And it can happen to anybody. Like, do you know what? After watching that, mate, if Everton wanted rid of him, I would give him a chance, because now that's all out in the open and he can get help. I would take him at West Ham, because there's no denying that when he was on top of his game, he was a fucking top player. And I mean a top player, like a, you know, bordering world-class talent, attacking midfielder. And
I think Dyche is the best manager for him, because he is that manager. I see an interview, actually, one of his ex-players.
I think Moyes would be perfect for him. I really do.
I honestly think, I see this, someone put a video, an interview with one of Dyche's ex-players, I can't remember, and he said, like, basically he was going through a similar thing, and he said the stuff Dyche done for him, you know, he would just take him out for a jog, go jogging with him, talk to him like a human, it showed interest with him, and done wonders.
Dele Alli said that in his video yesterday. He said that, like, he wasn't there when Sean Dyche was manager. He was obviously loaned out, and he said one of the first people to call him was Sean Dyche, and he didn't even ask him about his career. He just asked him how he was, and he said, like, whatever happens with me now and ever, and he said, I'll never forget that. And that's, and I think you're right. I think Sean Dyche could be good for him, and I agree with Nicky. I think David Moyes could be good for him. I think that someone just needs to put their arm around him and take him under their wing and just get him back to doing what he loves doing, and that's playing football. You know, he's now that he's got it out in the open, it's a weight off his shoulders, and, you know, hopefully now he can go on, and because he's still young. How old is he? He's
only 28 or something. Yeah, 27, 28.
Like, I mean, he was talking about retiring from football at the age of 24. And as we was going on about that Fabrizio Romano interview, this is another thing that knocked Dele Alli's career that he spoke about in the interview. Do you remember the famous Amazon Tottenham documentary when Jose Mourinho called him lazy? Remember that famous interview? Yeah, he said what they didn't show was Mourinho, that was a day after their recovery, And a week after a week's training, Mourinho pulled him aside and apologised to him. He said, "You're not lazy. I'm sorry I said that." But they completely cut that out of the documentary.
Wow.
So,
But they do. That's what they do.
yeah, but that's another thing.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I think it's easy to dismiss like, oh, that's just what happens. But that is poor because you're painting someone in a really bad light that negatively affects them. Like I said, personally, mentally, professionally, that is really, really poor. But on a light note, by the way, if you're on this, as we're on Tottenham players doing stuff, and it's a bit light. Did you see that Harry Kane on that Hot Ones eating the hot wings?
I've seen clips of it. I haven't seen the whole video, but I've seen clips on Twitter of it. Like, fuck that.
Do you know what? He's such a dry personality. But I have to say, like, whenever I see him being interviewed, it makes it so hard for me to hate him because he does genuinely seem like a great bloke. Like he seems like a nice.
He is. Do you know what? I was thinking the same thing. I watched that just when I was out doing what I was doing. I watched that, and I was thinking to myself, he's such just a wholesome guy. There's nothing to dislike about him. You can't dislike him. He plays for Tottenham, for fuck's sake. I should be able to dislike him. He's just such a wholesome geezer.
He keeps himself to himself, doesn't he? He's a family man.
He keeps himself to himself. Yeah. There's some things he does on a football pitch, you know, but he's such a wholesome guy. But what I would say is this, right? Is when they said he was going to be on Hot Ones, I was thinking to myself, fucking hell, the cunt can barely talk as he is. You know what I mean? How's his tongue going to swell up like that? And then, he sounds like a deaf giant at the best of times, doesn't he? Let's be honest. And I was thinking, how's he going to fucking talk when he's eating hot wings? But he done really well.
I think it helped. I think it actually helped him sound clearer. Actually, I understood him more than ever.
I mean, I got so many things to catch up on. I started watching the Peter Crouch podcast yesterday with Lee Hendry. I got halfway through that. I've got the Stephen Bartlett one that I want to watch with Frank Lampard. That's like a 2-hour one. So, yeah, I've got a lot to watch, a lot to catch up on.
Well, speaking of lot to catch up on, we've got a lot of starred comments here to catch up on. And yeah, so we got Mike WHU says, would you take Ward-Prowse? Seen a lot say no, but for me, proven player, contributes a lot of goals. I'd take him depending on the price. It don't, like I've said this a lot of time, it doesn't excite me as a signing, but he's definitely got qualities there that for the right price.
Yeah, I think I'd like him in because we're losing, obviously, Declan Rice, our captain, so it's another voice in the dressing room. So Ward-Prowse has been a captain at Southampton, so yeah, he'd be another leader in the dressing room, and I think he'd be a good player for us. I'd take him as long as it's the right price.
I feel like he could be the next Snodgrass. You know what I mean? Set piece killer. You know, honestly, he's such an underrated player for us. Abdi Ahmed says, as Arsenal fans, we can relate to the pain of losing your captain. Henry left us Barcelona, and we always hail him like the king he is. You lot are ungrateful to Rice. Well, Henry gave you the best years of his career.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And not only that, how old was Henry when he left? He was like 30, 34, wasn't he, or something like that? And then
he came back at 34. He was about 30.
Oh, yeah, he came back
29, 30. But they'd given him a good fucking 10, 11 years.
Yeah, I think that's a
the
bit
best
stupid
years of his career.
Yeah, that's a stupid comparison. That's a very stupid comparison, mate. Elbow says, just imagine your tax and insurance taken off that 100 million, only be left with getting Hugh Gill back. Oh, Jesus, don't remind me of that signing. JT says he wants to stay at West Ham. Said he wants to go to Roma in the future, but now he's happy at West Ham. Yeah, to me, it's not much different to when Lanzini years ago said he wanted to, go back to playing at River Plate eventually.
No,
it's your boyhood club.
Do you know what? I think he was very clever with his comments because he's sort of like, this is what I saw it as. It's sort of a come get me plea, but I can't blame him because of the way we play football. You know what I mean? Like he's been sold something else. You know what I mean? And you'll be very surprised to hear the Perrier on the podcast on Wednesday. I apologise to Sebastian Haller.
Oh, wow, I've got to go listen to this. My God.
Yeah. So like,
I'm going to click that up and put it on YouTube. I need that.
It's not that, because it's it's the thing is with what he said is it wasn't like I want to play for Roma in the future. He basically turned around and said I'd like to play for Mourinho. Now Mourinho is going to be the manager for the near future. He's not going to be, is there in 10
well, he
years'
also
time.
mentioned about playing for Roma, but he also said that Mourinho is a manager, is quality manager who feels like he could do a lot with his skills.
Yeah, but I don't blame him. I don't blame the kid. You know what I mean? Like it's it's hard to, when you're that type of player, to play for a team like us the way we play. So
I think it's not just that as well. I think he hasn't settled. I think he's a young man. He's moved to England by himself. From what I heard, he hasn't had no family or anything come over with him. And he's only really got Ogbonna there in the side to be his little link back home. Ogbonna's quite a bit older than he is, and I think he's just really had trouble settling. He missed most of the season, so he probably didn't feel as much a part of the team, in his first season when you really want to settle and adapt. And I think that's been a big difficulty for him. I think there's a lot of homesickness there that comes into it, and a bit of that playing. So
it'd be interesting to see. I hope that he has a good pre-season. He can, start hit the ground running from the start of the season.
Yeah. Red 5 of 499 super chat says, I get so emotionally invested in this, but end up pacing around my kitchen fuming. Please give me a reason why Paqueta would want to stay. And I think it was either Red 5 or someone else we might have started said we should. I think it was Red 5 said we should be building. Yeah, I also saw that we need to be building a team around Paqueta. Otherwise, what's the point? Yeah. Cheers, Red 5, for the super chat. But yeah, go on, lads.
Let's just see what happens. Like, people jump the gun. Nothing's happened yet. Nothing's happened. Rice ain't even gone yet. So let's get Rice out the door and then see what we get in. You know what I mean? Like, people are panicking, and they shouldn't be panicking. Let's panic a little bit later down the line.
Well, yeah, I can see reason for frustration or concern. I mean, when you have got Paqueta and Bowie, when you've got your better players there and they're going, well, West Ham have just got rid of one of their best players, they're obviously going to be looking at seeing what we bring in. Do you know what I mean?
Like, sometimes that could be a good thing because now they're the main people at the football club. I've seen a different attitude from Bowen, like the way he's been the main man in the press conferences. He's been the main man on West Ham's Twitter, on all their social media. So he might thrive off of it. I know losing Declan Rice no team wants to lose a player like Declan Rice, but sometimes it could be a good thing, because now these other players start stepping up, and if we bring in the right players,
that's it, isn't it? They want to see. They're going to want to see quality come in because they're going to want to see that the team are being ambitious and trying to move forward rather than we're going to lose Rice now and that's it. We're just going to fall off and go backwards. They want to see a bit of ambition and be part of a good side. So that's going to be the question, isn't it? Why have you highlighted Eltel's reply to Steve WH?
I didn't mean to, man. I didn't mean to.
I was going to say it's just random. No. But yeah, cheers for that, Red 5. Mark Baker, we are talking like Downs isn't going to get a chance. What do you guys think? I mean, we put this video up. It was a bit that we kind of actually recorded it like last week or something, but we put the you're supposed to be start by sell, but we said keep. But we had this debate about Downs, and Scott sees him as the Rice replacement, and we were sort of questioning whether he's fully equipped for that position. And I don't know if Moyes sees him that way. So I don't think he'd probably get maybe a bit more of a chance than he did last season, but I don't think he's going to be starting week in, week out in the Prem. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't see him as a direct replacement for Rice at the moment. But that's not saying that if we don't get in another couple of midfielders that can play in that role, that Downs could sit in there with them. Because what I've seen from Downs, he doesn't do anything wrong, really. He's made a couple of errors, but he doesn't play that much. So you're going to expect it. But look, this is why pre-season's important, because he's probably going to play a lot in pre-season. So when you're in pre-season, what you want to do is catch the manager's eye, and play your way into that starting lineup on the first game of the season. But look, we start bringing in players, then obviously Downs could be used as part of a transfer. You never know. So
Well, he's been linked with Southampton. Apparently, Southampton are interested in him. So we're talking about that Ward-Prowse signing.
yeah.
He
Which
could.
I think he'll be gutted with, because obviously we know he's a big West Ham fan. It's his dream move. In his first season, he won a trophy, so he probably won't want to leave the football club. But that's the unfortunate thing about football, is sometimes you gotta move on.
Yeah, I would love it. I'd absolutely love it to work out for him. I really would, because it is nice when you get people that do come that are real West Ham fans. They grew up supporting the club and they're playing for your club. And
Jim B. Sorry,
Yeah.
I thought you were finished. Sorry.
Yeah, go on. No, go on. I'm finished.
No. Jim B says, why does Scott have such an hard on for Downs? It's getting a bit weird now. Scott has this thing, right, where he will get hooked on a player, right? At one time it was Elliot Lee.
Yeah.
Then it was Diego Poye, wasn't it?
Poye, yeah.
They're Nordvite.
Nordvite, yeah. And I think what it is Scott puts all his eggs in a basket of a young player that, or someone that's not that you're not that excited about, because one day one of them will come out to be the next Declan Rice, and he'll just sit there and go, I told you.
I'm sure he said Arbeloa was the best right back we've ever had.
I'm sure that's what he did. I'm sure because, like to be fair, out of all the young strikers, were Elliot fucking Lee. Like, with all due respect to Elliot Lee, he's a lovely kid.
He's doing good for Wrexham right now.
Yeah, that's Wrexham, Dan, and they was playing in the non-league. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm just saying, I think what it is, he gets a little bit obsessed with a player, and he puts all his eggs in that basket. Watch, I remember him, right? Diego Poye. Watch Diego Poye. Have you seen Diego Poye?
Buzzing over Poye.
He's like a fucking muscle geezer. He don't even play football anymore. He ain't played football for 5 years.
He was so hyped on Poye.
He retired from football at like 25 and went on to do like property or something like that, or some fitness thing.
Yeah,
I
don't really get involved in all that anymore, because I remember I was excited when we signed Gökhan Torre. But he was decent for Besiktas, and he did. To be fair to him, he did set up our first ever winner at the London Stadium in the Premier League, so I'll give him that. But he wasn't.
One of my Turkish mates was like, "Oh my god, I'm so jealous. He's an Arsenal fan. You signed Gökhan Torre.
Yeah,
oh my god!"
From what I see of him, like I thought, yeah, he's gonna be a sort of player that the fans are gonna take to. He's like something that we need, and he turned up. He looked like a fucking. He looked like a security guard that's just been let go.
I've got to show Scott this comment. No, it's brilliant, because we do love winding him up about these things. Miss Amaret says journos most are vultures. Massive kudos to Dele Alli, but he wouldn't have to come out with his story if it hadn't been for the threat of the news being published that he was in rehab. Yeah, that was the thing that came out, wasn't it? They were going to sort of post a story, and then they dictate the narrative then, because then it changes and he gets to tell his narrative.
Yeah, but it's probably one of them situations, Dan, where he's never come out of it because, he thinks that, because let's be honest, as football fans, we can be cruel, and we have been cruel to a lot of people. But he thinks things like child abuse and, the things that he's gone through and being sent away for disciplinary and all that, people are going to pick up on that, and they're going to exploit them weaknesses or them faults of his, and he's probably been petrified to do so. Now, being forced to
talk about it as well. I don't think.
Yeah, of course, it's hard to talk about it, but it's even harder to talk about it when the whole world is watching you, and that's one of the problems when it comes to what footballers do. Like he may have a reprise, because I seen Nick Tucker earlier. Nick Tucker is the most diehard West Ham fan that there is, and travels a long way every fucking week to come and watch the football. Travels home, travels away, travels around Europe, and has done for many years. And he said, I don't care who he was playing for, I'd clap him. I'd applaud him onto the pitch. And, he may be a little bit surprised how warm a reception he gets from that. I wouldn't be surprised if there was Arsenal fans giving him a clap next year, West Ham fans and all that sort of thing. The people that have traditionally really not liked him. The only problem for us is it's probably going to benefit Everton.
Well, yeah, I mean, we just have to see. I mean, I think he's got a bit of a road ahead for him to try and get to a space.
Oh, absolutely. He's had an operation, so
yeah. So yeah, best of luck to him. This is a hilarious comment. Reese Bush says, "Fucking call yourself West Ham fans. Support the team." Really angry. Reese. I don't know what he said.
You're doing that for nearly 30 years, mate. So
Yeah.
Well, over 30 years now. Give myself a couple of years there.
I started that because I was a bit confused as to why he doesn't think we've not supported the team.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't talking to us.
Maybe that's a comment from last week. I don't know.
Yeah. Please elaborate, Reese Bush, please. The old Drano Hammers, $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, mate. Come on, let's be honest. We have a wave of youth that, given a real chance, can be the next Carrick, Defoe, Johnson, Chance, Downs, Potts, Mibama, others. Yeah, no, it's exciting from a youth standpoint. Although, yeah, Downs is like 24, which is why you'd hope that it clicks for him sooner rather than later. Do you know what I mean? He's not, but yeah, a lot of exciting young talent for sure, mate. We got Red 5, another $4.99 super chat. It says, in Scott's defense, I actually agree. Name the West Ham midfield without Rice and Downs, who plays in a 5.
In a 5?
Yeah, so he says, name the West Ham midfield without Rice and Downs, who plays in a 5. Thing
Souček,
is,
Paquetá, Benrahma.
Well, there you go. Or Fornals. You play Fornals in that
Fornals,
three
yeah.
in the midfield. Benrahma can play. Yeah, so Downs doesn't necessarily play. But what we're saying is, and what the crux of what we were saying on the start buy sell video, start sell bench, whatever the fuck it was. The three of us were saying is we want to sign a better midfielder that can come in. Like, we don't feel like, Downs can step in and be that Rice replacement. We want to sign a Rice replacement, which obviously would push Downs further down the pecking order. Although I would have Downs over Souček any day of the bloody week. I have to say that for a start.
So what you're saying is we want microwave rice that you can just cook and serve straight away. We don't want to wait for one to boil and take its time.
Exactly.
To get
Instant
to the
rice.
That's what we're saying. Instant rice.
That's what we want. High quality, of course.
We'll end up with fucking instant noodles in midfield.
Question for Nicky, Ryan, and Dan. Who would you like to bring in with the Rice money and whatever else we may have? Well, I'll pick you, and this goes into what we were going to talk about. Amrabat, I would love to sign. Apparently, he's not interested in coming, but that's just a rumor. But I would be interested. That's who I would sign.
He's been linked with Chelsea as well, isn't he?
United.
Yeah,
United.
he's been linked with quite a few clubs. Man United, yeah.
Man
but
United.
if we had the chance and, we actually really showed ambition and put our bollocks on the table, Amrabat, that's who I'd like to sign.
I mean, there's a few players that we've been linked with. I know we've been linked with Onana from Everton. I know he turned us down, didn't he, before? But, I know he didn't do that well at Everton last season, but he's a player that could come in. There's obviously Ward-Prowse, Barnes, Alvarez. There's McTominay's been linked with us. So there's so many players that can come in, but obviously we can't buy them all. But yeah, no, it's going to be an interesting next few weeks. What's there, like 50 days left of the transfer window?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I mean, this piggybacks onto Drano.
It's $2 million a day if you're doing your maths.
Super chat, and I'm just putting this up because it kind of is a similar thing. Drano says, "Cheers, mate." Says, "Cheers, Dan. Who do you honestly see coming through?" Sorry, talking about the youth. Now has not been given time, so I thought you meant coming in. Did you have Nick, someone that you want us to sign with that Rice money? Like a player that stands out that you think, especially that midfield, you thought, like that's my number one. That's who I want. Anyone that stands.
I like that Alvarez. I like him.
Yeah. Who
really
apparently we're back in for.
And Jonathan David.
I think he loves this bloke.
Up front.
I think
I'm doing a Scott sort of simp for him. That's what I want, man. That's what I want.
think Fulham are obviously pricing us out of the Paulinia deal, so I can't see that one happening. But
yeah,
I
Fair,
mean,
fair play
I mean,
to.
well, I don't know if you
right.
see it before we come on Sky Sports News. Apparently, Mitrovic is now on his way to Saudi Arabia. You know, he's already agreed. He's already agreed a deal with them before they've even accepted
Oh
the
my
deal. And
God.
he's rung Tony Khan and said, "Look, please let me go." I mean, this Saudi Arabia thing's going mad. Like
Well,
Jordan Henderson, like 700 grand a week.
but that's
Yeah,
what
that
I'm
is-
saying. Like the more people that go over there and they get
I
this
don't
sort of
blame
money,
them, mate.
man, I'd be on the fucking plane.
Mate, if Saudi Arabia Fan TV rung me up and said, "Come over, mate," I'll be straight over there. I'll be like, "Yeah, I've supported Saudi Arabia teams all my life."
He's going to be getting paid more than the best midfielders in the world. It's insane.
It's mental. It's
Um,
mental.
I'm
Drano
joking.
Ahmed says, I think it's all right. Yeah, who do you honestly see coming through? Downs has not been given time. I mean, I don't think Downs has been given time, of course, but I think just based on the time, I wouldn't be comfortable with saying like he's the Rice replacement. But coming through, yeah, I think there's a lot to choose from, isn't there, in terms of talent. Obviously, Mbama's already on the cusp. I think that Kadua, I think, looks really promising. I think he scored the other day. But he looked really good, didn't he? Right, he scored that brilliant goal in the Arsenal game.
Yeah, you got Callum Marshall as well. There's a lot of talent in that under 18s team, so that's why. And I go back to it as well. This is why I don't really look at results much in pre-season. It's about players getting game time and that. So it'd be nice to see the youngsters get. And it's nice that they've travelled obviously over to Australia. You know, it's a good experience for them to be away with some first team players. So yeah. A lot of people asking about our thoughts on the kit.
Yes, there has been a lot of comments on the kit. Apparently, the away shirt is going to be unveiled tomorrow.
Yeah, it's white.
New West Ham shirt out tomorrow. Sorry, it's out. £75.
Not the away shirt, home shirt.
No, so the home shirt's available to buy tomorrow. I think is what he's saying. But I did hear the away shirt might be unveiled tomorrow. But what's your thoughts?
Do you know what? When I first see it, I wasn't. But when I see it on the players, I thought it actually looked all right. It's quite a smart kit. The only thing that I would say is that round the collars, I wish it had a little bit of blue trim just to break it up.
Well, yeah, because they're sort of supposed to be doing like a modern version of this kit, right? You know, they've got the bubbles on there and all of that sort of stuff. But like you said, it needed the blue collar. And I don't like how the sleeves cut off straight. You see how the sleeves to this one, they go over a bit. With that, it just comes like that. And it just looks weird.
It's a bit like the anniversary kit we had the other year, you know, the 125-year one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, look, I always judge a kit when I see it up close. So if I'm over the lakeside in the next couple of weeks, I'll go into Club Shop and have a look at it. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people are not fans of them, but I actually like the hoop socks. The only thing that I would have maybe white shorts would have looked better, but yeah, I'm just I'm interested to see the away kit because what I've seen of it, it's meant to be really smart. It's like white with claret trim.
Yeah, I see a mock-up thing.
Yeah, that could be nice. And then obviously the third kit's meant to be like a green type of kit or a bluey, like a really greeny blue sort of colour. So yeah, no, look, I always at the end of the day, as long as the players are happy with it, you know, we hated that third kit last season and we ended up winning a trophy in it. So I don't care what the kits look like now. But the 75 quid is ridiculous.
I like it. I even like the little bubble designs. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I always have said this about home kits. It's difficult. They've got to be two colours and that's it. You know, with away kits, they get a little bit more artistic license than that. You know, it's very difficult to come up with a fucking different design for a claret and blue kit every year when you've got to have it in a traditional way. I'm doing something in a minute where I'll explain to you why they shouldn't be doing them every year, but you know, that's a different thing. But you know, if you're doing them every year, it's very difficult to come up with different designs. You know, there's only so many fucking designs you can use.
It's a bit like Liverpool. Liverpool have the same kit every year. Tottenham have the same home kit every year. Arsenal now and again change up their home kit, but by doing different designs on it. But yeah, it's most teams have the same
range, haven't we? Like if you look through our home kits throughout the years, we've probably changed more than most clubs in terms of how it looks like. If you was to look season on season on season, right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think if you
Someone said it's like there's no difference between last season's kit. I'm like, yes, there is. There's a massive difference.
It's huge difference.
There's no, because the last season's kit was based off the one, where it's got the little patterns.
Yeah.
It's more claret. You had the season where obviously we had the 2014-15 kit. That was completely different from our view, with the lines on it. It was mostly claret. Like our kits do change. If you was to really look at the kits throughout the years, season on season.
If you want to complain about kits, mate, right, and people are finding faults with the kit that we've got, I think it's a lot more traditional than the one last year. Go and have a look at Southampton's kit and see what you could fucking be getting from some of these. Some of these are fucking atrocious, mate. I'm telling you that now.
Southampton have based their their kit in the 70s, didn't they? So
yeah, but it looks like a set of pajamas, right?
Yeah, but so does our kit in long sleeve. You see, in a long sleeve shirt.
Yeah,
it looked fucking horrible.
It did. It looked like pajamas, didn't it? Like
I've never seen Zuma not smile before. He looked upset. He looked like he's been kidnapped.
Well, yeah.
I quite like it.
Like I said, I looked last year's one when I first saw it. I hated it, and now it's one of my favorite shirts. Like I've got it. I love it. I think it's a nice kit, and so I'm reserving judgment, but not a fan so far. Adam the Architect with a £5 super chat. Thank you very much, Adam. Would you rather see the club reinvest the Rice money into the club? At Rush Green, there is a chance to buy the land to develop a 94-acre facility. I think we simply have to reinvest as much as there's the chance to do that, and that sounds exciting. We have to sign players, otherwise we're in Europa League next season.
Yeah, you get a mortgage for land. Don't need to spend all that.
Get a mortgage, yeah, fair enough. If we can mortgage that,
yeah, I think the player recruitment's important. But I've said it before on here. There are plans for West Ham over the next 2 to 3 years to get a training ground where everyone's together. So that there is something sort of in the pipeline, but I don't know when that's going to happen. But it's something that the club want to do.
And so shout out Nick. It says, chaps, it's the anniversary when I met my char on the Isle of Dogs, Millwall, for our first ever date. Say a hello to her and remind her how lucky she is. Happy anniversary, and listen, Char, well done for putting up for it with him for all these years.
Yeah, happy anniversary to you both. Well done, Charlotte, as well for putting up with Nick.
Yeah, happy anniversary, guys. We've been there from the start. Apparently, a lot of people, there was rumours when it first started going out that they met through our site, our YouTube channel, with him coming on our YouTube channel. So here we go.
There you go. So you may find love in these comments. So.
Yeah, exactly. You come on the channel, you might find a girlfriend and a
that's
wife.
Worth a like already. That's worth a thumbs up just for Nick and Charlotte's happiness.
Yeah, you find a bird, you get married, and you skin. All to West Ham Fan TV. That's what we do. Love on the rocks. He knows the prize.
Steve W.
I'm a drink until alive.
What was that? Was we out one day and you was drunk, Nick, and you just kept singing that all night? I'm sure
that was Graham.
Was it Graham?
Graham sings it all the time.
No, there's a story behind that, and I wish he was in the chat. My mate Lee, the Arsenal fan, it's funny, man.
Steve WHV Bell, $4.99 super chat. Brian's gone. Do you guys think Mabama is going to be given a chance next season? There was a report suggesting that he will. Whether he actually will, I mean, he had a couple of games here and there last season. He got a goal in Europe. I think he's going to be given more time. I think we'll see it. And with Antonio, I think Antonio possibly will still be here next season, but he's getting a bit older. Ings, we don't know what's happening with Scamacca. There's a lot of dependence on what happens with those three, but I think he'll get a bit more game time than he got last season. Fingers crossed.
Declan Rice says, hello, lads. Can't wait to leave this Tin Pot Club. Oh, easy up, Declan. You ain't even fucking been there 5 minutes. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly.
Give him a chance. Play a game for him first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you saw that song that one of them did. I tweeted it out. It was the most embarrassing, cringeworthy thing I've ever seen. One of these Arsenal fans with this little Rice rap he done. Oh my god, it was pain. And it's like, and that's Rice is probably
Did anyone see the other one from the Mason Mount one from the Man United fan?
No,
What happened?
Brilliant.
What the guy
I
chasing him
can't
down to
remember
sign
what
the?
it But you got to Google on Twitter, look for the Mason Mount chant from a Man United fan. It was fucking hilarious. Like I don't know how these people write this down and think that's the bollocks. That's gonna go like everyone's gonna be singing that at Old Trafford.
They've got a bit. Some of them have got to be trolling. That geezer was the one he was singing about fucking the Tottenham fan about.
Oh yeah. What was
What's
this?
his name? Fucking hell, Madison.
Yeah, when they signed Madison. Oh, that was painful. That
It
was
was fucking painful.
And there was there's some bad ones out there.
I think the worst one I've ever seen was the Tottenham one when it was to the Circle of Life. The Lion King.
Yeah.
No.
That was an official
Life.
fucking. That was an official video.
Mate,
They was in the stadium. Tottenham for life.
No, there was a couple of kids that made this Tottenham one.
Dan, you sound like Adam Sandler then.
Yeah, you did say it. You did say it. There was a couple of Tottenham kids that made a song a couple of years ago, and I can't even remember what it was.
Is it one where he just got caned?
No.
One club. You're talking about one club.
One club. Yeah, one club.
One club is all you need.
And that was fucking painful watching that,
What
especially when they was getting like. Obviously, they must have been walking up to like fans on a match day going, "Can you just say one club?" and giving them lines. And there was just some people that was just standing there like that was saying it with the most. It was fucking painful. I
remember it because they was zooming into their faces. They was saying, one geezer was eating his chips.
Oh,
he had a bit of
I'll tell you what they weren't doing, winning a trophy.
He had a bit of cod in his mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, what an embarrassing fan base. Yeah, there's a lot on there for them. Elto, yeah, we have to look after Paqueta. I think he will have a great season now. He's about 200. Now he has about 200 cars on his driveway. Yeah, I think
he's got more than that. I think his garage is like big motoring world. He's got millions of cars. Everyone sold their car to him, poor fella.
Do you know what I would say as well? There's a lot of chat about Balogun in the chat. Like Balogun obviously plays for Arsenal. Now, this has confused me a little bit because when West Ham were offered £75 million for Declan Rice, there was a lot of them saying, "Come on, man! Like you're being greedy for not taking that." They want £50 million for a kid that's never fucking played for them.
Yeah.
Right, and they think that's, straight up all right. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't see any problem with that.
Yeah, it's fucking delusional.
He had a good half season in France.
They had the cheek to flog Iwobi to Everton for 50 million.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like,
mate, when that facts come in, they went like that. They must have gone 5 million for Iwobi. No, it says 50. They must have gone. They must have been rubbing their hands together.
That's like that little story do you remember the lead story about Seth Johnson? Do you remember Seth Johnson?
Yeah.
And I remember like Leeds were spending money like water at the time. That's why they got in a lot of trouble. And this was one of the reasons why they think they got in trouble, because there was an agent with Seth Johnson. Seth Johnson was playing for Derby at the time. And apparently there was a story that says to the agent, says to Seth Johnson, "Look, keep your mouth shut and I'll get you 10 grand a week. Just don't say anything and I'll work it and I'll get you 10 grand a week guaranteed." And they went into the room, said, "Pleased to meet you, blah, blah, blah. This is our opening offer." And he's like, 30 grand a week. And apparently he went, 30 grand a week. He went, "All right, 40, but I'm not paying any more." And like, I don't know where I was going with that story, but
yeah, neither do I. I was sitting there thinking, what's this about?
I don't know what's happening.
You are.
I had a point, but I've completely forgot it as I was telling the story.
Seth Johnson, that's a name I ain't heard for a long time.
No, I'm just saying, like that's
yeah,
a
I'm
story.
Sure. He got an England cap, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was a good player. But I can't.
in
I
the
don't know where I was going with that. I don't know why I told that story.
You know what? That's
You're
going
in
to
the
be my
official
new
club's
thing now.
video, mate. What
That's
do you
going to
think
be
about
my
that?
new thing on Friday Night Playing. When it all goes awkward and quiet, I'm going to go, Seth Johnson. Oh, mate.
What do
Uh,
you think
yeah.
of being in the official video, Nick? Eltel, you in that? You seen it? You're in the official video of the
Yeah.
final.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gutted
absolutely.
at that because they cut me out and I swapped places with Gary. So Gary got on it and I would. Yeah, but you can't have all the good looking ones on there, can you?
That's it, mate. Yeah, us ugly ones have to get a bit of airtime every now and then.
I was gutted. You could just see me like here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was saying that there's a bit where we're celebrating as well in the I think the semi-final, and I think you can see like they've got the people next who was next to us, and you can just see my little arm flapping about in the background. I was thinking,
Mate, when-
keep playing it across.
When I when Fornell scored that goal in the semi-final, I always remember that geezer behind me just grabbing me from behind, but he was pulling me. I was trying to celebrate, but he was pulling me, and I was going, I didn't know what was going on.
Red 5, he says it's the last 5.99 super chat. Last super chat is the real reason we're not spending is because Moyes can't be trusted with the money. Hashtag gone by Christmas. Or that's harsh, mate. That is harsh, but I don't think that's what it is, personally. I don't think that he can't be trusted. That's why we've got Stuyvesant in. We've got this little committee that apparently is there. I think we're just being cautious with the money. Personally, I don't know about you lads. Do you think it's because...
Yeah, I agree, mate.
No, they let him spend 180 million quid last year. It's not that they don't.
Yeah, and it all went tits up.
He wouldn't be there. So,
well, he don't like sacking managers, does he, Sullivan? Adam the architect.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Do you know what? Right, I see Robbie quite a bit. I'll rip him to pieces over some of the things he's done in the past, man.
Robbie was doing that video, he looked like he was like a zombie trying to run away, but one of his foot was stuck to the floor and he was just going in a circle. Dan could have got him in Cockneys versus Zombies.
Yeah, he should have.
Mate, yeah, they love it, don't they? Fair play, though. It's all about having a little bit of a laugh and a bit of fun, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Jessel's the one.
Yeah.
He was fucking, when they sound Havertz, he was dancing around Chelsea in lederhosen and all that traditional fucking, like that stuff that they had on in fucking National Lampoon's European Vacation right at the end.
Ryan King with $14.99 Australian dollars, mate. Says, hello from Perth, lads. Just went to the players' meet and greet. We are buzzing to have the lads here. Hopefully we get a win over Spurs on Sunday for the fans game and Tuesday for the players. AU with the
is that when we're playing Tottenham on Sunday?
No, he said the fans game for the fans game.
Yeah, they've set up a charity fans game.
Yeah, I was going to say because Tottenham only flew out there today. That's a bit mad, isn't it? But yeah, the fans game that's going on. Yeah, good luck with that, mate. And
but I think that's brilliant. I've seen a lot of the videos and the pictures from the fans, and you can see how buzzing they are because they are so far away. Like we take a lot of this for granted, of the access and how close we are and being able to watch games and see them all live. And for them, usually when you hear about a faraway preseason tour, you're like, oh, why we got to go so far away? But when you see how much it means to the fans who live in these countries, getting to see them and meet them and watch them play, it means everything to them. So I'm really happy for the fans out there.
Yeah, I'm the same, mate. And like people that live over there, don't always travel over here and watch games. And it's nice that the young kids out there and adults as well that have been supporting West Ham, they get the chance to meet their heroes. And I see the video yesterday of the kids meeting Jared Bowen, and they was just like in awe of him and like shocked. And it's nice. And as you said, mate, we get to see them like every week. So
don't fucking. I'll tell you what though, I took Jamie out to fucking get a few autographs at that Boreham Wood game. None of the fuckers come over.
Yeah. Over here, so I don't give a shit about us. They go over to Australia, they're like, yeah, let me sign everything. They're like, oh, it's these pricks again.
Isn't it mad? Like I remember, like when I was a kid and like being a junior hammer, and like every couple of months they'd send you a letter inviting you to an autograph session with all the players. Like it's a shame they don't do things like that no more.
the thing is, right, when I was standing there, my boy was hard. But look, I'm lucky because
I think Calvin Martin sandwiches, mate.
yeah, but I'm lucky because like I know people that are involved in that sort of thing that I could give things to and they could come back sign for me. You know what I mean? Like we know enough people that can do that sort of thing. But there are some kids that, like, you know, there were kids there that they're the only chance they get, you know. And you see, like, I'll name a couple of them, like Zuma and Skamaka and all that. They're standing there talking. Now, back in the day when I was a youngster, you could walk up to them as they're walking out the door. They've got it all barriered off. You've got security guards sort of pushing you in the face to get you out of the way. People that, you know, like taxi drivers and things are theirs that fucking get involved in things that they shouldn't really be getting involved in. You know, some of them need a fucking smack in the mouth, to be quite honest with you. I'll tell you about it after, but like, but they look at these kids. There must have been 50 kids. I'm going to say fair play to Moyes. Moyes and Nolan come over. They've signed all along the line, every autograph. But like Zuma and Skamaka, they just sort of like went like, and I was talking to someone when I was standing there who does it quite often, saying like a lot of it's been stopped by, I don't know who, you know, a lot of them are told not to do it, you know. That's a shame. It's a real shame.
I see this video of Mason Mount, right? And he was these fans following him, trying to get him to sign something, right? And apparently they'd been going up to him for 3 days, these blokes, trying to get him to sign these shirts. And he's like, no, I told you the other day. And apparently like people are saying they're like trying to sell the shirts now on eBay. And there's a lot of that going on.
That's the issue, isn't it? But, you know, if I've got a kid standing there and there's kids standing there, because, you know, just sign the kid stuff then.
That's why, like, I'm glad I grew up in the era I did, because I used to go to Chadwell Heath training ground 3 or 4 times a week, like, and the players weren't even getting out of the cars before I was putting my autograph book in front of them. But they're some of the best memories I've got, you know, and none of the players back then would refuse. And I was watching an interview with Patrice Evra a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about Alex Ferguson. They played, I think it was Newcastle away or something. They lost, and they all got straight on the coach. And Alex Ferguson said, like, what are you doing? Get off and go and sign all them autographs. And they all had to get off and go and sign all the kids' autographs and that. And he said that really, like, that's how he was, because them players, them fans have waited in the cold for like 2 hours for them to come out. And that's how it should be. Like, you see, like, little players taking a minute out of their life can be lifetime memories for some of these kids.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, and this is the thing. Someone pointed out this, because I see you just started this. Don't kid yourself from Australia to meet fans. It's just the colour of money and nothing else. No, none of us ever said the reason West Ham have gone out there is to meet fans. What we said is it's nice for the fans. We never said that.
No, it's all pre-season tours are about money. You know, I see some Dean Saunders on TalkSport the other day was talking about Man United's schedule, and they're flying all over the world, like, just for pre-season. And he said, how can players get settled? And how do you expect they played in Oslo the other day. They've got a game in Ireland, a game in America, a game in Germany, I think. Then they fly back to America. They're literally, you look at Man United's pre-season schedule, they're all over the place. It's all about money. We know that. But what we're saying is it's nice for the Australian fans to get a chance to see their heroes.
Yeah, that's the end result. Doesn't matter why we're doing it. You know, it's great for the fans. You know, Jeff Masterson says, how is it you lads seem to have a better idea about transfers and starting lineups than Sully and Moyes and all the other hangers-on to pay millions to fuck it up? Well, it's just our humble opinion. I can't say whether we have a better idea. We're not getting paid to do it. But, you know, it's you just watch your team weekend, you just have your opinions, you know. And like I said, it could be right or wrong, but we just got to say how we feel and what we think, you know, right or wrong.
See, look, this is like Jim just said there, what we was just saying. Like, it used to be a family club, and the separation between the players and the fans is a joke. This is what I was saying about, like, do you remember, Dan, when we went to the thing at the Boleyn?
Yeah.
Like the, what was it? What do they call them?
It was the fan forum.
Yeah, the fan forum. Like, they used to do that a lot. And it used to be nice that you get a chance to go down, you get to listen to the manager and the players talk, and and
You
then
got
have
to
a
speak
feel.
to Sam Byram, Julian Dix. Got to rub shoulders.
Yeah.
Like Walker, they weren't really separated, was they? They
David
mixed.
Gold. I remember going to one even at the London Stadium when Moisey was first in charge there. I went to one with him and Noble, and like it was nice to just sit there and listen to them and then meet them after. And I
Ask
don't.
some questions.
Yeah, I think they
You know
should
what?
do a lot more of that.
Do you know what I think it is sometimes, Ryan? I'm not making excuses for him, but like basically everyone's got a mobile studio in their pocket now. You know what I mean? Like, remember the controversy of the incident when fucking Artson booted Berkovic in the face, and all that thing, he come out and everyone was shocked and all that. Like, that sort of shit happens every single day. You know, we see shit. We see arguments and rows and like some scuffles.
I'm not on about like letting them go in to watch them train.
No, but I'm just saying, like, and I think that's what I think they're petrified of. I think they're petrified of getting caught with their pants down, to be quite honest with you, saying something or doing something, or do you know what I mean? Like someone stitching them up, because there's all these pranksters now and all that. Like, it doesn't help all this sort of like the culture that we've got now with people trying to basically stitch people. Well, you see it all the time. You see a geezer walk up to Ryan Giggs on the train station. He shoved the camera straight in his face. Do you know what I mean? Like, and never ask him. And all. We just live in this time now that I think they try and protect themselves, which, you know, I think it's just a little.
I'll tell you what, mate. I'm glad there weren't camera phones when I used to go Chadwell, because some of the stuff I could have put up after seeing some of the things some of them players done.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, let's be honest. If that Berkovic and Artson incident now, fucking, he wouldn't have even put his foot back on the ground, and it would have been on the internet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Think, Dan's elaborated on his point, and I kind of get what he's saying now. He said, Dan, I didn't say you said that, but we're told to sign for fans, but we're told to sign for fans in Australia for PR and make new fans, yet proper. We're all proper, yet, no matter where in the world you live. Fans like Nicky's boys shunned at Boreham Wood. Yeah, and I think that is the bad thing, because the end result for the Australian fans, I'm happy for them. It's great for them, but obviously there is a bit of cynicism in it, because they are told, like, you go and you treat all of these fans amazing. You give them everything they want, pictures, autographs, all of that stuff, because we want to cement and build that fan base in other countries. But here, they're told to, don't sign the autographs, keep moving, because, well, they come every week. They're West Ham fans. We don't need to grow them. They're coming every week. I think that's how I think you got a point. I think that's kind of how they see it. There is a bit of cynicism in there, even though the end result is great.
The problem is it can cause arguments. I was getting the arsehole with it. You know what I mean? And I'm not shy sometimes. If someone gives me the arsehole, I'm quite inclined to turn around to play and call them a prick. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a shit. Like, and then what's it do? It starts arguments, and it's just, I don't see what the reason is. Like, just come over and sign the kids' books. That's it. That's all you got to do. Come over and sign the kids' books. We're behind barriers. You know what I mean? As I say, like, there was people sort of like policing the crowd that really had no business policing the crowd. And you know what I mean? Like, they're just pricks now. Some of them are just pricks. It's just the way they are.
Ken Ammer says, sorry, Nicky, I always said feed Haller and he will score. Feed Haller.
We're going to be doing this forever and ever if we keep on going that far back into the comments.
Well, I know. I'm just reading. You started these. Like, I'm just trying to go. But if you learned the long story short method, we'd get through these a bit quicker. Jordy Team for Life. Scott very confused to keep bench sell. Yes, he is. He's very confused, man. Yeah. So, would you take Moussa Dembele from Lyon on a free if Scamacca goes? It'd probably be on big wages, though. The big wages is a put off, but I would have a punt on it.
He's the winker, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's the one. He's the one that winked when Creswell got sent off.
I think there's a good player there, and I do think he could suit us, to be honest. But the big wages are a stumbling block.
Yeah.
Media pushing the idea of Arsenal delaying the deal to make up for West Ham's lack of finding midfield reinforcements. I mean, the deal is dragging on, though. That aside, it is just dragging on massively. And then RC Drainold Hammers says, Friday Night Pint Live. I was gutted I couldn't make the original. I want to make the return. I'm booking hotel and everything, says Drainold.
Yeah, no, it's something that we're definitely going to be looking into over the next week or two. So.
We've pinpointed a date, and now we've got to confirm the date.
Yeah.
Now we've just got to work around when Scott's available because he's on holiday for the next 6 months.
He's got a residency.
We'll have to do it without him. We'll have to have.
We'll have to do it around his house. All around Scott's house.
No, he'll be in Butlins. We're gonna have to do it in Butlins because that's where Scott is all the time.
Yeah, wherever Scott.
Whoa. So if someone doesn't know you, doesn't want to talk to you, is a prick. Very weird. Did I say that? Did I say that?
No, you didn't. You didn't say that. You said you're inclined.
Seth Johnson.
I never fucking said that at all. What I said is that I think they're pricks, some of them, because they won't come over and sign a. I don't want to talk to the cunts. I don't care. I don't care about talking to them. It don't bother me.
Yeah, I'm not really. Obviously, as you get older, you're not really. But it's all about kids. As I said, mate, I've got memories from when I was a kid going to the training ground, and I still talk about some of the things now that happened back then. So for these kids now to meet their idols, and it's that's what it's about.
Yeah. Nick said he had a go at Sheridan for ignoring once. He had a pop at him.
Before I just see the comment there, Irish Tommy was saying similar.
Yeah, I just put that up.
Yeah, you don't. As you get older, you don't really care, but it is about the kids, and it's it's meeting your favorite player and getting them to sign something.
They're lifetime memories for kids in something that will take a player a few minutes. It's memories for a lifetime that just makes their world. It's special for them. So
I'm gonna have to dig through some of my old stuff in the boxes I've got of all, because I've got the best autograph ever, man. I was a 15-year-old kid meeting Neil Razor Ruddock, and I said to him, "Can you sign this for me, please?" And he took my book. And I went, "Oh, can you write me a message as well?" So he signed it, shut it, give it back to me. I've carried on getting the players' autographs. I'm sitting on the bus on the way home with my mates, and I'm flicking through the book, and it's just got "To Ryan, you cunt, Neil Razor." And I was like, "Oh my God, man, I'm 15." And I remember the next time I went down there, I said to him, "Why did you sign that?" He said, "Don't you tell the FA that I signed that." But he's honestly, mate, he was an absolute legend of a player.
Do you know what you should have said to him? You should have turned around and said to him, "How much rent you get a fine?" He'd go 10 grand. So, "Well, give me 5 grand." And I won't.
Oh, mate,
blackmail him.
He was
he's a lovely
legend at that training ground. Some of the stuff he used to do. I remember him reversing the coach into Ian Wright's brand new BMW Z3 and leaving like an inch between it. And he went, "Watch this, boys." And he run in, and all of a sudden Ian Wright come running out in his pants, and he's going, "Who's it my car? Who's it my car?" like that. And it was mental, man. Some of the stuff that it was brilliant times. Honestly, I wish that I could relive their moments again. Honestly, it was brilliant. Some of the laughs that we used to have down there, it was unreal.
Yeah, like I said, it's a shame. It's not, times have changed, but. Yeah, I think everyone seems to be in agreement with Nick. It's the kids. It's about the kids. They should get the shirts and all of that. Absolutely.
I don't understand I do understand the shirt collecting and things like that, but I don't really understand how that sort of thing comes about. Like, where do they go? How do these people get hold of them all the time? You know what I mean? I don't really understand it, but then I don't collect them. So.
Quick question for Ryan. Ryan, is that football behind you a player of the match award at Upton Park?
Yeah.
That football there.
Yeah, that's my hat-trick ball from Upton Park.
So, it was a very interactive one today. We got a lot of comments in, a lot to talk about. But listen, let's just hope next week's Friday Night Pint, we're not talking about Declan fucking Rice. We're looking forward, and we're talking about how we're basically on the verge of signing some players. That's what.
Yeah, hopefully it'd be nice. It'd be nice this time next week to actually talk about a player that we've got who's come in the door, like a new player. So
Yep.
let's hope. Football, a week's a long time in football, so a lot can happen over the next days.
Once Arsenal's Klarna application gets accepted, then we can get it out. You know what I mean?
They must have tried Klarna, and it's like, no, that ain't working. Then they've gone to PayPal to do free pay, and no, that ain't working. Now they're just like
Wonga.com now.
Wonga, yeah, they've had to borrow some money. Like they've been ringing up Spurs saying, "Oh, yeah, look, I know we're great terms, but look, lend us a few million.
Yeah, lend us a couple of quid, please.
Come on, mate. Remember that time I helped you out?
Just bloody get on with it. But yeah, great show. Glad you was able to join us, Nick.
Thank you.
Yeah. 1 minute into the show.
One day we'll find out what happened with Seth Johnson and where you were going with that story.
I'll tell that story again next week. That was brilliant.
Yeah. I just
that it reminded me of Uncle Albert. Who's Rachel?
Do you know what? I had a point, but I still can't remember the point.
You do that sometimes. There was another time he's like, and I've forgotten what point I was making. It's just.
Do you remember that time? Remember that time when he was drunk, Dan, and he was rambling on, and then he just forgot. And then we went about half hour into the show, and he must have remembered, and he started talking about it, and we was like, "What's he talking about?" and then he went, "Oh, I don't know," and he poured himself another vodka. Poured himself a nightcap.
I wish we had like some sort of compilation of all these fucking moments.
It's
that.
Let's answer this. Why don't you do Friday Night Pint in a pub anymore? Or I'm thinking of another channel. No, it was post match pint. That is our channel.
Friday Night Pint's always been in this format.
Friday Night Pint was born in lockdown, so it was like a thing.
Post match pint. Hopefully, we'll be back to normal next season. Back with us around the table with pints on the table, talking about West Ham win, lose or draw. Yeah, I've missed that. The intro. Friday Night Pint. Nicky banging on the table. All of us holding our beers, so don't knock them over. But yeah, we'll be back
on the internet. Yeah. Look forward to it.
I'll have to see if I can still remember that little tagline.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we first started, Nick, and we used to write it down on the white? The paper.
Yeah.
I think it was welcome to West Ham Fan TV's post-match pint, the only post-match Fallout show on the internet.
But then
West Ham Fan TV's post-match pint, the only West Ham United post-match Fallout show on the internet.
Oh, it was on the internet.
I remember that we was filming for ages, and it looked like the camera was half a mile down the road. Dan come in, moved the camera forward, and it looked so much better. And we was like, why didn't we think of that?
I remember, because I'd see it, and I wanted to just stick I was like, it was so frustrating because the kid was like this high up, right?
It's because we had a banner, and we thought we had to get the banner, but getting the banner in, it looked like we was down here.
Yeah, it just it drove me crazy.
God, we was just inexperienced cunts, you know what I mean?
It's all fun and games. Dan, we used to interview people before the game and upload it the next day.
Yeah, that's good. What's your predictions?
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly what we used to do.
Yeah,
will be.
Do you remember that time when Graham interviewed someone and he forgot to press record on the dictaphone?
Yeah, I give him the dictaphone. I said to him, "You have a go." Mate. And he was going, "No, I don't want to. And I give him the dictaphone. I started it for him, and I didn't know. I give it to him. I just said, "Just put it under his face." As we started the video, he pressed the button again and turned it off. All you could see on the video was him go.
I know. Do you know what? It's when I look back at some of the memories, like doing this channel since day one. It's so some of the things that I think of sometimes. I like it. Sometimes I get random videos pop up on my YouTube thing, and like some of the old post-match pints. And do you remember when we done the 5,000 subscribers one, and Dan was sitting behind us on the high chair, and he looked like fucking like a lifeguard sitting on the big chair.
Yeah.
Umpire, squeezing us all in. Yeah, 5,000. That seems like such a long time. We're closing in on 70,000.
Well, I remember when we done the karaoke for the 10,000.
Yeah. Achy breaky heart, wasn't it, Nicky saying?
Yeah.
He was loving it. He was.
Yeah,
Um,
we should do
yeah.
another night. We should do another night like that.
Graham still owes us getting his eyebrows threaded, didn't he, for the
I
50,000?
don't think we've got the budget anymore. I'll have to get me Flymo out the garage and go over.
That's like getting a
them.
fucking thatch roof redone.
Fucking hell! It's like, it'd be like recarpeting the London Stadium. Oh, bless him. Miss him.
But yeah, look, so do stay tuned for next season. Hopefully, he'll be back in a nice pub setting and get that back. And yeah, it's been a good show. If you haven't gone to see us start bench sell, if you haven't watched that yet, go and watch that. It was a lot of fun. Got increasingly frustrated with Scott, and we did rip the shit out of him in a lot of times. It was a good fun. We had a good laugh making that and going around. So
He got very confused.
he did.
He didn't really understand the concept of it, which is it's not hard to confuse him, but
Yeah. So that's worth checking out. But yeah, listen, lads, it was good to see you.
and you, mate, yeah, and you.
Thank you, everyone.
Let me just say this. Sorry, Dan. Before you just go, so, Nicky, that was funny. I uploaded a video last week, right? I uploaded it, then went to bed. Yeah, and it was one side of an interview where we was doing the thingy, right? It was one side of it. So it was up all night. A couple of thousand people saw it, but it was just somebody said it looked like he was preparing for a job interview because it was just. I'm so sorry. Honestly, I didn't mean to do that. And I re-uploaded it the next day.
Whose side was it? You or him?
Him. It was just going like that. It started because I'm obviously doing an intro. Yeah, I'm very good, thank you.
Oh, what? So you weren't on the screen?
Oh, no, my side wasn't uploaded at all. I must have just pressed the.
They look like he was on a Teams. He looked like he was on a Teams meeting doing a job interview.
But I left it up all night. A couple of thousand people saw it.
What the fuck is this?
What time's Morrison shut?
He must look like a right nutter.
I've got to catch a train.
No, fucking re-uploaded it. Looks fuck me, poor. Fucking
Who's Rachel?
He messaged me as well, Ken. It's only my side, and he must have been panicking. And I never saw it for hours. I never saw it to the morning.
We might have to put that version on our Patreon if you want to see that. Oh my god, yeah, JT, please upload it again.
I'm surprised you didn't say if you want to see Nicky's part, you got to subscribe to the Patreon.
Yeah, that's it. We'll upload half a part.
Oh god.
Fucking hell.
I'll upload it again and I'll put it private. And if you want it,
as expression says, end the stream, Dave.
End the stream, Dave. Yeah.
Thank you all for watching. One thing left to say. Come on, you eyes.
Have a great